Hello world, this is Stefan of Lendrigan Games. I now have walking animations for both left and right for the placeholder knight. I haven't yet drawn the transition animations, so that's why the knight freezes when changing directions. Nonetheless, progress on the placeholder knight has been much smoother than was for the placeholder minotaur, now that I already have a framework and can just draw the frames instead of figuring out proportions and placements. Fortunately for me, grinding out the drawings was a relatively pleasant experience. On that note, I've seen a few sophists dance around the question, what truly is grind? For anyone that isn't too educated to understand the concept of side effects, the answer is simple. Grind is a tediously repetitive activity, derived from ye olde occupation of grinder, whose job was to drive an exercise bike and press freshly hammered blades against the wheel to sharpen. The task is mind-numbingly simple and repetitive, hence the phrase, put your nose to the grindstone. Also, while I'm here, love, noun, desire for community. You're welcome. Anyone who wants to argue about that or reflectively quote the love is X, Y, and Z Bible passage needs to shut up and digest things. In other news, I've reached the 50 Mind subscribers milestone, so here's the social media roundup. Okay, of course, Minds actually is now at 68 followers. Unlike missing the 50 followers Facebook milestone by a couple weeks, with Minds it was at 48 followers, then 49, then 50, then suddenly 55. I'm guessing that the follower count spiked because of the display of basic animation quality, but I honestly don't know what caused it, and I still refuse to look the gift horse in the mouth. As for Facebook, Lendrigan has acquired a dozen more Filipino followers on Facebook, bringing that up to 75 and leaving me still befuddled. On Gab, he has acquired one more bot follower. There's nothing new on Twitter, ever. As for YouTube, an old friend from Stefan's personal channel learned about Lendrigan's channel and has subscribed, and along with another private subscriber, it's currently up to 4. Now with that out of the way, here's the ramble proper. Back when I tried to make a campaign for the tabletop game that I was also trying to make, I figured out a question that could place any player's character at the starting point for the campaign. What got your murder hobo out of his hometown? If he's chasing something, it came this way. And if he's fleeing something, come with us if you want to live. If the answer is village got burned down by raiders without any motivation, just ask whether he's looking for revenge or to rebuild or what. Once you have an answer to the question, the character starts taking on a life of his own, because the player now has a starting point from which to extrapolate later motivations and decisions. For example, if Hobo Baggins is out in the open world on a personal quest to kill a bunch of bandits that burned his village and killed his family, he's at this starting point for my quest because he needs friends, resources, and some more strength in order to properly hand them a subpoena for small claims court. Additionally, every decision that he makes during the campaign is susceptible to the question, how will this help me get revenge? Granted, this is assuming that the character is level 1, at which point the numbers themselves say that he hasn't had enough experiences to have an in-depth backstory. Once the murder hobos are mid-level, they go wherever they can find a fight and a paycheck, no matter what the game overseer says, or wants, or angrily shouts. To pad this ramble out with a digression, video game writers need to take their hands away from setting a backstory whenever the player is allowed to create his own character. Fallout 4, for instance, gets a lot of flack for pretending to allow role-playing while establishing a backstory for the player character. With the parameters set, the only unique character that I could create with the given variables was a psychopathic Somali war queen who no longer needed to hide her true intentions after the nuclear holocaust. Of course, this is modern Bethesda, and role-playing that for 2 straight dialogues was impossible. In fact, the role-playing was so tragically destroyed that using mods to line the street with crucifixions still couldn't satisfy. Similarly, Skyrim destroyed the entire purpose of character creation by making all of its alleged role-playing amount to having the dragon butler kill whom he's told to kill, and mods haven't managed to fix that either. Back to character creation, though, almost every boring character in all of fiction can be identified via the question, what does he want? In the movie Jupiter Jones, what does Mila Kunis want, and what does Channing Tatum hope that protecting her will accomplish? The movie fails to engage its audience because things happen ostensibly without reason. Meanwhile, Super Troopers, a movie whose plot really is just a backdrop for the jokes, has a solid plot because the characters have identifiable motivations. Brian Cox wants to keep the Highway Patrol office open. Daniel Von Bargen wants to muscle out the Highway Patrol and have everything. And the patrolmen themselves just want to have fun. Commence character clashes and you get your conflicts. Coming to a more recent discussion, what is the motivation for the Star Wars character Rey? The only explanation for her that withstands Occam's razor is that she wants to do the right thing. Go you, yippee-yi-yay. Get your marriage badge and get back in the corner and think about why you did what you did. Like I said in the last ramble, wanting good things to happen is a basic human feature, not a driving motivator. Rey, thusly, is a boring character. At this point in Star Wars, the best thing that can happen with her is to get her face ripped off, revealing that she is actually a droid. This ramble will be relatively short, but all of these words have been the most embellishment that I can wrap around the Chewie center that is the next statement. To create a perfectly adequate and functional character, answer the double question of what does he want and how does he intend to achieve it. After that, every verb that follows, every consequence that stems from, and every obstacle that challenges the why and how will all be good writing. A common problem with a lot of hero stories, one to which I have also fallen prey, is that the hero is the antagonist, a character who exists purely for the sake of stopping the villain from accomplishing his dreams. What does the villain want? He wants to take over the world. What does the hero want? He wants good things to happen.